and I get a reaction from Francesca, okay? But same sort of thing, but in a judo context, if I pull her, okay, she's gonna resist and pull back. So if I pull, she wants to pull back, okay? Now, if you're really predictable with that and you constantly do the same thing, that becomes you can read that and then you can counter it, okay? So it's like that game of chess that we constantly talk about in judo. So what I used to do a lot, being left-handed, was I'd always use a circular movement coming in this direction, always circling. And the amount of times people said to me, how annoying is it when you circle, constantly going around to that left-hand side? The reason I did it is because I lead with my left foot, and I want them coming this way all the time. All the time a right-hander's coming this way, they can't attack me very easily across the front, okay? Because I'm constantly pulling them in this direction. And what that also does is it allows me to sweep that Ouchi-gari, okay? So I actually perfected, with my coach at the time, Steve Ravenscroft, I actually perfected a left Ouchi-gari based on that left circular movement. Now, I know there's a few of you that are going to go, well, that's no good to me because I'm right-handed. And I can't help you there because I'm so left-handed, I couldn't be any more left-handed if I tried. But I'm only joking, I can really. So if it's left on left, for example, it's the same as right on right, which is going to be your normal, the more usual situation. Okay, the difference is you just have to change the angle. Okay, so left on left here, all it means is I need to get myself here in order to attack. Okay, and I also want her weight on this leg, on her back leg. Okay, so rather than, it's exactly the same, rather than if we're left on right, I move her into that position to attack that leg. If we go same side, okay, I have to move myself in order to attack that leg. All right? So, sounds really, really complicated, but ultimately, in order for my Ouchi-gari to be effective, I need her either stepping forward with this leg, stepping here for me to sweep, okay? Or I need to be able to put myself in this position where I can sweep that leg, okay? So, two variations of getting in the same position, and the throw's the same. We often focus on the throw, and we get into the nitty-gritty of the gripping and where my hand goes and what I do on my foot. Actually, the throw is the easy bit. It's the creating of the throw, creating the position, creating the reaction, and positioning myself to get the right, to get the right kind of attack and to be able to throw in the right way. Okay. So once again, left on left. Okay, so same sides, exactly the same left on left as it would be right on right. Okay, in fact, I'll have a go at showing you right on right. If it's rubbish, do forgive me. It's been a year since I did any judo and I can't fight right-handed. Okay, so again, all I need to do is create that step that I showed you originally. Okay, do you remember that? There, I need to create this position. Now, from a right-handed on right-hander, okay, I need to somehow create that. So what do I do? A circle this way and then attack that leg. Okay, so what you need to do is problem solve. So you need to work out the position you need it to be in to throw it effectively. And then from there, you need to either manufacture or put yourself in that position, or you need to move your partner into the position you want them. Okay. Now there is a link. I've sent another link to Danny, which she's going to send around at the end, I think, which is me teaching or showing this exact throw in a bit more detail and a little bit less rushed. Okay. So if you get a chance and you're interested, watch that. And then what you need to try and do is try and apply that to your judo. Okay, whether you're predominantly right-handed or if you're left-handed or if you've got an opponent that fights you in a particular way, try and stick with the same attack, but work out how it will work against different opponents. And there will be some that it just doesn't work. Okay, so and the other thing I wanted to say, and on the video you'll see, is how I use Ouchi-gari to lead into everything else that I do. So Ouchi-gari is probably the biggest scoring attack that I do, but often where I'd kind of became so annoying at circling to the left and attacking this leg, circling and attacking that, it led then to them reacting in a slightly different way, and then would now enable me to attack with something else, Uchimata or Ouchi-gari or Tomonagi. So my whole judo, my whole competitive judo was kind of based around one throw, and that was that Ouchi-gari. So by doing that well, it meant that I could then throw Tomonagi, Uchimata, or Ouchi-gari, or Ko-soto, okay? And it all came from just, as my coach at the time used to say, it was having a really good boxer's jab, okay? So we've all got one or two knockout punches or knockout throws, but what you need is that really good boxer's jab, that really reliable, annoying jab in the face that totally disrupts your partner, and it also kind of allows you to build your technical base around that. I don't know how long I've been talking for. What time are we on?
Quarter past.
Quarter past. Anyone got any questions on that? Danny, anything that springs to mind from you for these guys that kind of you want to build on or add to?
No, I think that's a really good point you've raised there, mate. I think it'd be pretty cool just to let them have a go at it if that's all right with you, Ben. Just give them 5 minutes to have a little go at it and see if they can take it on board a bit. Definitely. Like that as well.
Yeah, have a play and let me know how you go. I'll move a bit closer and have a look. In fact, Francesca can look as well because she's spent her time coaching and competing. So have a go, guys, and let us know any questions you got.
Okay, Jimmy. Then, guys, if you've got a partner, have a go with a partner. If you're doing it shadow, then do it shadow. Think about the steps that Ben was going through.
Oh, you need to change the view. Gallery view up to yeah, that's good. Good. Okay, so remember this first step, guys. That first one's the most important one. Keeping my body coiled up like a spring. Okay, generates all of the power, the space in my arms. I almost want my arms straight to sweep. The power comes from your hip in this one, not from your arms. There's very little pulling or pushing, which you would do with most techniques. All of the power comes from your legs and this movement. There, and a big sweeping action.
Are we allowed to do that throw to another throw?
Yeah, if you want to do that, combine it with something. What do you combine it with?
I like the Ouchi-gari.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to do with Ouchi-gari. It's not impossible, but if you attack, you can kind of half attack and then follow in. It's if you're fully committed to the Ouchi, it makes it, because of the positioning, it's quite difficult to follow through. It's not impossible, but you can definitely do that. Thinking of.
Try and open your hip out a bit more, Burnsy. So you're not throwing him directly backwards. Try and pull the leg out. You throw to the side. I think that was what you showed me for, Ben, wasn't it? Yeah.
So in this version, the way in which I do this one, way I hook it, I'm not hooking and driving backwards in this instance. I'm hooking and I'm spinning in that direction. Okay, so I'm spinning in a circle. Remember your distance, be as far, you want to be at least arm's length from your partner. Arm's length, and then put your feet in the gap. Okay, and then sweep. really well. So just for this bit, just try it either try it opposite side. So one of you's right-handed, and if you've got a partner, get your partner to grip left-handed, okay? Doesn't matter who does what, I just want it opposite to opposite. So what you'll see is, I'm left-handed, Francesca's right-handed, so we've got this big gap here, okay? Whereas if I was right-handed, there'd be no gap. We would be more like this, okay? Where I'm a left-handed player, there's this big gap. So what I do is I circle in this direction, fill the space, and bring her around to attack that leg. Okay, so then as she steps, so I step here, as she steps, her weight and her movement is coming in this direction. Now, what I would try and do is sweep the leg as she steps it. Okay, so I put myself here, boom, boom, sweep. As she's stepping, I try and sweep that leg. Okay, like with all ashiwaza, same as if it's with Ouchi, as she steps, I want to sweep it before her foot is fully planted on the floor. Okay. So as I pull her around here, I'll sweep that foot. Okay, so that's if it's opposite sides, so left to right, right to left, and you're circling in that way. Okay. If it's same side, we'll do left to left because this is what I'm better at. Left to left here. Okay. I need to somehow come into this space. Okay. So I need to put myself in this space to sweep the here. But it's slightly different because I don't have the same circular motion. So I have to rely on a more sort of stabby, punchy type attack. Okay. So from here, left to left, I move myself and then I attack there. A lot less circular and a lot more direct. Okay, so this is what I was saying about the movement and the action-reaction based on your judo and your situations. Okay, so a lot of the time I would be fighting a right-handed judo player and I was left-handed, so I perfected that or focused my effort on that circular motion. But you need to be able to do it. There's no point just being able to do that throw against a certain type, a certain, right-hander or whatever. So,
I'm left-handed too.
Say again?
I'm left-handed too.
Excellent. But all the best people are. Although I do everything else right-handed apart from judo. Okay, so this is left on left here. Okay, I would circle here, circle into the space so that we square again and then attack the foot. Okay, and from that comes all sorts of things. Once you've done one attack, follow it up. Or the other thing I used to do when I circled, I'd circle to Ouchi-gari and then drop the tominagi. Okay, movement in.
Yeah, let's do that, mate. Brilliant.
Cool. Good. Nice. It's good. Brilliant. Awesome. That's good.
I think Jake Pasquale just threw himself then. Right there, Jake. Nice, thumbs up. He's all right. He's all right.
Do you know what, though? That's not a bad thing. Often, in order to, you've almost got to throw. If you're too on balance, the chances are your partner's not going to be off balance. So a lot of the time, you almost need to be that committed that you're on the brink of falling over, or it takes a little bit of control to rescue yourself. So He's committed, which is good. Excellent. 1 more minute on this, guys, and then we'll pause it there.
Yeah, sound that, Ben.
That's good. Well done. Quality. Right. Well, I'm happy to answer any questions. If anyone's got any specific questions on the movement or the Ouchi-gari, I'm more than happy to answer them now. But what I was and the other thing I was gonna do is just to finish off with the next sort of 30 minutes was talk you through my journey as a Paralympic judo player, and then answer any questions that you might have. So, but before we go on to that bit, has anyone got any questions they want to ask about either the movement pattern or the technique or the action reaction sort of side of things? No, all got that.
No, I can't see any, mate. Yeah, I think they've all got it, pal.
Something you can take back to your dojo once it opens and build on, I think.
For sure, mate, for sure.
Good. Brilliant. Yeah, all done. Right, boys, girls, I'm gonna take my laptop upstairs. You can make yourself comfy. And Danny, if you could whack that video on me, and then we'll
yeah.
I'll answer any questions in that after.
Yeah, no problem, mate. I'll do it now. All right, pal.
Cheers. Let Francesca get back to feeding the kids.
Yeah, no stress, mate. Oh, it's on the this one. Right, guys, I'm going to share a video then that Ben's asked me to. So just bear with me. Right, yeah, I'm sharing the screen now. And I'll rotate my screen in a minute as well, so it makes it better for you all.
I'm a pro at this, Danny. An absolute pro.
I've been doing it for that long now, Ben. Right.
Quilter almost gave up the sport of judo. Such was his disappointment at failing to make the British Paralympic team for Athens. But Quilter is no quitter, as he ably demonstrated here today at the Workers' Indoor Arena.
The 26-year-old European Championship silver medalist had a bye in the first round of the 60-kilo class, then narrowly lost his second round contest with China's Li Xiaodong, only to rebound impressively in the repechage or second chance phase of the competition. There, Quilter beat Brazil's Helder Araujo by ippon, the ultimate winning score in judo.
Quilter was making his games debut in a Paralympic sport that's only open to visually impaired athletes. Otherwise, the rules are the same as in the Olympics.
Each contest is a maximum 5 minutes. A player can win by using a successful technique such as a throw or hold. If there's no score at the end of a bout, it goes to a golden score. That's where the first person to score in an extra 5 minutes wins. Failing that, the referee and judges decide a majority decision verdict. Back with the British hopeful, and Quilter's second repechage contest was a tough one against two-time defending Paralympic champion Sergio Perez of Cuba, who's also a double world champion. But Quilter wasted no time in turning the tables of favouritism, and he flipped Perez for ippon and victory. But Britain would now fight for a medal. In front of a packed and boisterous crowd, Quilter walked out to face Azerbaijan's Ramin Abrimahov in the battle for bronze. But this was an all-too-brief encounter. Just seconds in, Quilter was thrown onto his back by the European champion. Ippon, game over. Ben beaten, but still able to walk tall and talk with perspective.
Looking back on it, I've had a lot of tough fights today. I beat a lot of players I've never even come close to beating. I fought a Chinese man in China. I beat the current world champion, and I just lost to the Azerbaijan, who's the current European champion. So overall, I mean, I'm really happy with my performance. Just a bit unfortunate then for fighting for bronze.
Today's a special occasion. It was 500 days to go to the Paralympics. I think that's meant to inspire me and get me motivated. That's a lot of weeks of hard work, a lot of hard training and stuff.
Are you ready for this then? Yeah. Sure. 4 minutes.
Rolling stones in the rap game, not bragging. Lips bigger than Jagger, not sagging. Rolling backwards, I'ma leave it at that. That ain't got nothing to do with rap. Shut the backs, expose those cats. Who pose as heroes, take advantage of blacks. The government's gangsters, so cut it. A war going on, so where y'all at? Great responsibility. Ask the police who's stopping you from killing
I can just keep pushing myself and pushing myself until I can't stand up. 5 weeks to go, 52 days, knee brace, no ligaments holding it together, still going to do this.
Oh, it's a big one, it's a massive technique. And that was a beautiful Ouchi-gari there from Ben Quilter.
It was a 5th in Beijing. You really want a medal this time.
If I get a 5th again, don't stop me on the way out because I won't be very talkative.
Ben Quilter is going for bronze. He has fought so hard to get here.
Live love life like you just don't care. 5,000 leaders never scared. Rain and noise is the moment they fear. Get up, still a beautiful idea. Get up, throw your hands in the air. Get up, and show no fear. Get up if y'all really care. You need 20 years, now get up.
It really has been an epic journey. I'm so happy with having come here and won a bronze.
Okay.
All right, mate.
Thank you. So my screen was a bit pixelated in there when I was watching that, so I don't know if anyone else's was. If it was, it's that clip's on YouTube. So
yeah, I'll share it again as well, Ben, on the Facebook page. Yeah.
So if you do want to watch it, so basically, guys, that was like 15 years of my judo journey in 5 minutes or so. So but I think the key things for me there that I just want to chat through with you now is like I started judo at the age of 7, like I'm sure many of you did, if not younger. And I just enjoyed it, just loved doing it. And I started because I had a lot of friends that were doing it. And I went on and carried on sort of training my hardest. And I was good. I was all right. I was kind of top 5 in the country on the fringe of the national squad, hoping to break through and make it as one of the top players. And coincidentally, kind of got diagnosed at the same time with a really rare genetic sight condition. So about 12 years old, I was told that my sight was going to deteriorate slowly, and I'm going to be left with a big blind spot, which is effectively what I've got now. So I've got no vision in the middle of my eye, so all I see is this big blind spot in the middle of my sight all the time. So I've only got peripheral vision, and you know what? I was really fortunate that enabled me to compete in Paralympic Judo. So it's about kind of, I guess the message there is that there's always going to be problems and challenges, and it's kind of looking for the positives in those challenges and trying to find something to kind of motivate you and use it as a positive outcome. And a lot of you may have heard of Simon Jackson, a Northwest lad. I first met him when I was at a competition in Crystal Palace. He was doing a big mass randori, and you'll all know Simon's voice if you've heard it. And he was talking about himself having a visual impairment and competing at the Paralympics. And that was my first experience when I was at, I think it was either the National Championships or the Southern Area Open. And he was there doing that. And I thought, hang on a minute, I'm visually impaired, maybe I can do this. And I did. And I spent the next 15 years on the Paralympic team, traveling the world, competing all over the place. And like Danny said, I competed at 2 Paralympic Games in Beijing and then in London, 2012. And I won 2 world titles in that time, a couple of world bronze medals. And I think I might have won 1 European or 2 European titles, and then a couple of silvers and a few bronzes. Yeah, I did my fair share of traveling and competing and losing and winning. And then, like you see there, like headed into London 2012, had the best 3.5 years of my life. and with 6 weeks to go, you know, I don't think I lost a fight. I didn't lose one fight between Beijing and London, and I was a big favourite to win a gold medal at home Paralympic Games. It was getting exciting, a lot of pressure. And then 6 weeks to go, like you saw in that video there, I got a knee injury and I actually snapped my my ACL, which is your cruciate ligament, and your MCL, which is your medial collateral ligament, and two pretty important ligaments when it comes to being able to stand up and use your leg. But you know, there was a few positives from that. It was my left leg, so it was my leading leg rather than my supporting leg. So we kept it a secret from the rest of the world. I was seeded #1, so I had a pretty good draw. I lost in the quarterfinal, and I taped my leg almost straight. So the 6 weeks leading into the games, I did no judo. I had lots and lots of rehab and physio injections and all sorts. And then my knee was taped almost straight. There was no movement in it at all, and I had to adapt and change everything I did without anyone anyone noticing that I was carrying quite a significant injury. So I went into London, kind of again adapting and overcoming those challenges, and doing the best with what I had. And fortunately now it was good enough for a bronze, but it definitely wasn't the colour medal that I'd hoped or expected. But some things are out of our control. But yeah, it was a fantastic experience. And then had it all put back together and fixed, and intended to try and do another few more years, and decided it wasn't for me. And now there's 3 young kids downstairs, which was the aftermath of my judo career. So yeah, it was an exciting journey, but one that came with a lot of challenges and hurdles. But I think any good judo player would say that it's about how you overcome those hurdles, and how you respond to those challenges. So happy if anyone's got any questions, if you want to ask, please feel free to fire away.
Go on, James Bray.
What was it like going to the Olympic and Paralympics and with a taped leg up? What was it like?
Scary, mate. I'm not going to lie. It was scary, and I think I'm not too manly to admit it. When I got the phone call from the doctor to tell me that it wasn't good and I'd snapped my ligaments, I was sitting in bed at the time and I just started crying, because it just felt like 12 years of hard work and effort, and it felt like it was all just slipping through my fingers. So yeah, actually on the day I had no idea what was going to happen, whether it would just fall apart in the first fight and I couldn't do anything, which pretty much did. I lost my first fight to the defending Paralympic champion from Algeria, but fortunately I came back through the repechage and ended up winning my next 2 fights and my third, which was a bronze medal match. So, but it was really, really scary because just didn't know how it was going to go. But I think the other thing was, in my own head, it took the pressure off a little bit because it wasn't about winning anymore. It was about kind of making it through and seeing what happened. So once that first fight was out of the way, I decided that I had to just change my mentality and try and enjoy it and do the best with what I had. But definitely scary. But fortunately, it all worked out in the end. Good question there.
Oh, we've got a question from Jake Pasquill on the chat, Ben.
Yep.
He says, can you see that? I don't know if you can see the chat as well, but I'll read it out to you, make it easy for you, pal. It says, I'm VI. What does it feel like to go through the ranks as a VI and travel the world as a VI judoka?
Oh, brilliant, mate. It's the best. It's the best feeling. I think it's, you're fortunate now in today's climate that it's going to be really similar. The experience will be a lot like what any of the Olympic judo players will go through. There are some subtle differences, but it's the same. It's a lot of hard work, but it's so rewarding. It's one of the most rewarding things you can do is kind of pursue your dream in sport and try your hardest to achieve your goals and do everything that you can do to be the best that you can be. Now, that sounds really cheesy, and I know that that's what a lot of people say, but it's so true. Whether your goal is to be Northwest area champion, or whether it's to be Olympic champion, or whether it's to be Paralympic champion or world champion, whatever it is, if that's your goal, you've got to just take the rough with the smooth. It's not always going to go your own way, work really, really hard, and then and see where you end up at the end of it. And I think, to be honest, mate, one thing I learned from judo is that actually that mentality and that attitude, you take yourself out of judo and you apply that same mentality in whatever else you go into, and you won't go far wrong. But you know, without doubt, some of the best years of my life were spent traveling the world, meeting new people, competing all around the world. Don't get me wrong, there were some low times as well. I've been to a lot of really rubbish countries that you wouldn't ever want to go to on holiday. But no, it's all about the overall experience, and to be honest, it was absolutely phenomenal.
A great question, Jake, and I know you'll find Ben a real idol to look up to. I don't know if you know Jake already, Ben, but Jake's from Blackpool Quilter Judo Club, so he's one of our area players. So hopefully at some point your paths will cross face to face as we start to open up.
Yeah, definitely.
Have we got any more questions for anyone else? They're all being shy, Ben. They're all being shy, mate. I've got one for you, Ben. Did you ever get on telly, mate? Did you ever get on telly?
Yeah, did a few things. Did a few things on telly. What have I done? A lot of Channel 4 stuff. So a lot of the footage that was on that video clip was from. I did a Channel 4 video diary. So most of that was shown online, leading into London 2012, and then afterwards did quite a few interviews on Channel 4 on their sort of Olympic and sort of Paralympic sort of news updates and stuff like that. What else did I do? I remember doing, as soon as I finished fighting, I was kind of found myself in the Channel 4 green room, and Freddie Flintoff was there. You know, the cricket player was in there, and then lo and behold, who walks in? Simon Jackson, my old mate and idol from the Paralympic team, walked in, and he was the first person that I bumped into outside of my usual kind of training group and partners and friends, training partners and friends and coaches and stuff. So yeah, I sat having a beer with him in the green room, and with him and Freddie Flintoff in London after the games. And then done other bits and bobs. I never did anything. I didn't get on Question the Sport or anything, which is a real shame. But
so that invite might still come, mate. The invite might still come.
You never know. Yeah, a lot of local news, national news and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Cool, mate. Cool. We've got another question from Joe Bygate. He says, "What's all the countries you've been to?"
Oh, all the way. I probably won't remember them all, but I've been to Australia. I've been to Greece, Cyprus, Azerbaijan, Russia, Lithuania, Brazil, Japan, China, Spain. Loads, mate. Loads and loads. I'm sure there's a load more that I've.
My auntie lives in Cyprus.
Did you get that, Ben?
Oh, cool. Went there loads of times because that was the holding camp for the Athens. Yeah, that was the holding camp for the Athens Olympics and Paralympics. So we went out there loads.
Joe also asks, which part of Russia did you go to?
A place called Ufa, which was an experience in itself. And when this is a good story for you, when I checked in at the airport with the Russian airline, she asked me where we was going, and I said Ufa, and she said, "Oh, I've never heard of it. You'll have to let me know what it's like if you make it back alive." Now that wasn't the that really wasn't the comment I wanted to hear from the woman at the check-in desk.
No, not at all.
So yeah, I've been to a lot of those countries multiple times. Well, I've been to Japan about 5 or 6 times. I've been back to Spain a few times and Lithuania a few times. So yeah, Germany, I've been there loads of times. France, loads of times. So yeah, you get to go to cool places.
Jake, back to Jake. He says, "What's the worst country you've been to?"
I wonder if that's going to come up. Probably. I normally associate the worst country I've been to with how I performed in that country. So whether I won or lost. Worst one. The strangest one is probably Azerbaijan. It's a bit of a strange country. Like you go from it's either really, really rich or really poor. It was like really two extremes of it. That was an odd one. And then, but yeah, a couple of places in Russia that were a bit strange. And one of them actually, I've been to Brazil. Brazil was I've been about 4 times to Brazil, and I've had probably my best and my worst trip at both of those. The best was Rio de Janeiro. That was awesome in Rio because it's just beautiful beaches and sunshine. And one of the worst ones was Sao Paulo, which is just a big city. But I went out first round at a qualifying event in that one, so I didn't enjoy that one.
Joe Byget says, have you been to Grozny or Chechnya?
No, I haven't. What are they like?
Have you been, Joe? He's not answering. No, he's not been. He's not been, Ben.
No, they don't sound the best.
Can't say I've been either, mate. I don't think I'd want to.
No.
Have we got any more questions, guys, before we start to wrap this up? Anyone? No, I don't think there's any more coming through, Ben. So
No
I'll let you.
I hope that was useful. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I think to be honest, guys, it's we're coming to the end of what's been a difficult 12 months for the sport and for all of us. So I think it's the future's starting to look bright. We'll get back on the mat soon, and I think it's really important that we all kind of come together and help each other and help our judo clubs to kind of rebuild and regrow. And hopefully we'll be back all loving doing what we've missed so long for the last 12 months or so. So hopefully I'll see some of you on the mat soon. But keep doing what you're doing and keep enjoying your judo.
Cheers, Ben. Thanks very much for your time, mate. And just about the videos that Ben's sent over to me today, I'll put the links to both of those videos on the Facebook page this evening, so you can look back at his career again, and also have a look back at the technique that he showed on the at the start of the call as well, guys. All right, for the Ouchi-gari.